Hey guys, let's talk sentencing decorum. During the live stream of the Brooks sentencing, I was seeing a lot of comments that you have to let him do this so he doesn't get a successful appeal on sentencing. They have to be super careful. They have to let him back in the courtroom if he puts a magic word on a piece of paper. The judge has to be nice to him, kind of a thing, that the judge has to act within these kind of restraints. He gets to do whatever he wants. Everybody gets to say everything they want to say for as long as they want to say it. And that was more the choice, to the degree it happened, of how the judge wanted to run that courtroom, not how it has to be. And I'm going to show you some examples of that. So again, she ran a great trial, very fair to him, and also appeal proof, I think, to the degree that she can make it. And it was more her disposition to allow him to talk as long as he did, to let him get out everything he wanted to get out, to see if he was ever going to express remorse, and to let the few people that he did call on his behalf speak as much as they wanted to. I think that's more her disposition to fairness. Certainly, it's certainly not a situation where she's terrified that she's going to be reversed on appeal if she shows emotion or cuts somebody off for going down an avenue that isn't required, putting the brakes on this, condensing the nonsense. She could have done those things if she chose to. Let's take a look at some examples of that. The first one is out of Wisconsin as well, Judge Borowski, who's well known to not tolerate a lot of nonsense in his courtroom. And he's also not nominated for the 2022 Empathy for Convicted Murderers Award. Just didn't make the list. And maybe this clip will show you one of the reasons why, as he addresses a character witness for the defendant, his mother.
I don't want to hear excuses about his teenage years or anything. It's tragic, it's unfortunate, but you raised somebody that killed another person. This community's gone way too soft on thuggery, gang-banging, shootings. And that's all what this was. And for the victim's family, I can't imagine how hollow it is. It always makes me want to vomit when I hear defendants say, "Oh, I'm so sorry," as if they forgot to bring milk home at the end of the day. Or
so the judge can consider what is relevant to the sentence. Didn't find a nonsense sob story about teenage years is relevant to this sentence, and shut it all down, right? Okay, let's travel out of Wisconsin to another state closer to here and listen to a judge as the mother tries to say, well, he didn't even do it.
If it please court, Your Honor, if you would hear from Nathaniel Rowland's mother first.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state have accused our son of a crime that he didn't commit.
Ma'am, I'm not going to hear
all right,
any claim of innocence.
Okay.
He's been convicted by the jury.
Okay. And I know he didn't do this.
Ma'am, I'm not going to hear any
yes,
claim of what he did or didn't do.
Yes,
he is guilty of murder. He's
yes,
guilty of kidnapping.
Yes,
he's guilty of possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime. And if you had any testimony that you wanted to give for the jury to consider, the trial was the time to do that. I'm not listening to any claim of what he did not do.
So they don't have to listen to just whatever anybody wants to tell them. They're not forced to sit there and let everybody just say whatever they want or trash people, other people that aren't in the courtroom, things like Brooks was trying to do. It's not something that you have to do. Now, let's take a look at a situation where a judge thinks this defendant just will not shut up, and I'm going to shut him up.
On my cell today.
Mr. Williams, I'm the judge in the matter. Shut your mouth, and I'll tell you when you can talk. You got it? If we have to, I will gag you in 1 second. So listen, you will get a chance to talk. I'm going to gag you in 1 second. So just listen to me. Zip it.
Now let's roll tape.
I want to make it real clear. If you spit on, attempt to bite, or injure any of my deputies, you're going to have a bad day.
None of that.
Oh, you clear?
Put the tape on me, man. We done with this shit. That's what it is.
So you can see the judge can be very strong with somebody. Tell them to shut the hell up. And if they don't, do something about it. And this judge did, and actually taped this guy's mouth shut. Of course, the guy said pretty funny after that, it is what it is. And I agree with that. And that's why I think the judge in the Brooks case did the right thing to send him into a different room, because you could still thrash around and make noise and stuff, even if you're gagged. So putting him in the other room, making him minimal, in the sentencing hearing, muting him where that was appropriate. I think she did the right thing there. Let's take a look at another judge and see how she calmly deals with and shows a level of respect and empathy to a defendant who is insisting on talking over her and insulting her during the trial, and how she recognizes her place to allow this violent individual to do whatever he wants to do.
See, when you tell one lie, you got to remember the 100 lies that you told to cover that lie up.
That wasn't no lie.
Be quiet and don't talk in my courtroom.
I'm innocent.
Be quiet. Take him back.
That's right.
Take him out.
That's right.
Take him out now.
You.
No, just take him out.
I'm innocent.
All right, I know what you're thinking. Okay, maybe they don't have to listen to all kinds of nonsense. Maybe they don't have to put up with the defendant saying whatever they want to say. But surely, at the time they give the sentence, they have to be machine-like in their lack of emotion, machine-like in their display of the words of the sentence, and also can't show any anger or any emotion, right? And certainly, you should show absolute respect to this convicted murderer who's over there, right? You don't want to create an impression that you're biased against convicted murderers, right? Now, I am personally biased against convicted murderers. The murdering of innocent people is something I think badly about, and it causes me to think poorly of people who do it. And it's just a judgment. We all can't be perfect, judgment-free. So let's see how the judges, though, the people who are tasked with this, how they handle it. And let's take a look at this first one, where the judge is telling the defendant, here's something that would have helped you in your childhood, a beating.
That's what you have needed in your life as a father. Someone to discipline you. Someone to beat the hell out of you when you made a mistake, as opposed to allowing you or encouraging you to do it to somebody else.
Now, I'm going to note in that case, the DA objected, but she didn't object to the beating. She objected to the idea that because he didn't have a father, that led to this, because there were a lot of kids who have single mothers who don't become a violent, ultra-violent criminals. And I agree with that. So in here, I can agree with the DA's point that don't tarnish all these kids like this. And I can also see the judge's point and certainly agree with him, at least as things occurred in my childhood. Now, okay, well, that's one thing. The guy should have got spanked when he was a kid. And that's not so bad, right? Well, surely the judge wouldn't make a reference to the person should have gotten a death penalty if possible, right? Let's see this judge discussing the economics of incarcerating this person.
And I know a lot of people, I'm sure, think the only money we should waste on you, Mr. Tingley, is the cost of a bullet. But I think it's worth every penny to lock you up for the rest of your life.
So I'm with the judge on this. In some cases, the economic way to handle things would be the cost of one round, but it's not always what you can do, or pretty much never what you can do now with the due process, which I also agree with. But the judge is saying, listen, even though it's going to cost us a lot more to keep you in prison than the much more economical approach of just one bullet, it's still worth it to the taxpayers to keep you locked up away from the rest of society. Dispassionate execution of justice there? Yeah, I still think so. But he was only alluding to the potential of a death penalty. A judge can't say, actually, hey, if we had a death penalty, you'd be getting it. Sure wish I could give you this death penalty. They can't say that, can they? Let's take a look at Judge McBain.
So I agree with the family. I hope you die in prison as well. If this was a death penalty state, you'd be getting the chair.
Don't get it twisted. There are rules on what the judge can do, mostly not having their mind totally made up at the sentence, not sentencing out of anger, and not giving disproportionate levels of sentences. But the idea that the Court of Appeal sets up there in their robes as a three-person Miss Manners operation, totally ignoring the conduct of the convicted murderer, but closely scrutinizing the judge's every word and facial expression and tone of voice, just looking for the opportunity to reverse a full jury verdict and a statutorily appropriate sentence because someone is butthurt that the judge was emotional or let somebody have it. Nah, not really. I mean, that's not what they're there to do. And I'm not saying that a judge can do something so crazy that the sentence is reversed for behavior, but I am saying the limit is not the defendant gets to say and do everything they want to do. The witnesses for them could say everything that they want to say, and the judges have to sit there and eat it, and the victims have to eat it. That is not the case. The script can be flipped. This is a convicted idiot, murderer, violent person, and the respect they're getting is due to generally the system, and certainly not because they deserve it or because there's a court of appeal somewhere just waiting to let murderers run free, tiptoeing through meadowed fields of path to happiness that Brooks said he wanted. It's not going to happen. Again, in the Brooks case, I think this was the judge's temperament coming out there, that she wants to allow people to speak and have a fair trial, and I fully respect that. But again, don't get it twisted. It's not like these judges have to walk around on eggshells about how they talk to these people, especially after they're convicted. They're not presumed innocent anymore. They're convicted murderers, okay? They get what they get, okay? Due process, yes, but due process is not in the Constitution that when found guilty of murder, that everybody has to cater to you and be ultra nice to you for the rest of your life and through all things that you go through. It's just not in there. The judge runs the courtroom. I would advise you that if you're in a courtroom to understand that and do not think that all the leeway that Brooks got will necessarily apply to your case. The judge had her own reasons, her own personality for doing that, which was a fair trial, and to the degree she could make it a bomb-proof, appeal-proof trial. I think she did a great job on all accounts of that, but that is not a normal situation there, of course. Anyway, I enjoy these clips because I like to see people get what's coming to them when they deserve it, and I hope you have a good weekend. Bye.